All right, y'all, we're going to be hopping into Inside Star Citizen Arrasted Development. I was waiting all day to watch this with y'all, so let's hop into it. Okay, I already turned the captions off, I think.
The Argo SRV is the tow truck of the universe. It is that single player, I want to rescue, recover, retrieve other vehicles in the game.
SRV stands for Standard Recovery Vehicle.
It's for tugging other ships around. Maybe they're disabled, maybe it's a difficult docking situation.
Let me tell y'all, Argo is probably one of my favorite vehicles, one of my favorite manufacturers in the game. Probably my top three. They easily just jumped out. They give me the industry look. It's they're one of my, like I said, they're just my favorite ship manufacturer. And I really wish that I could tell in the thumbnail that's the new RSI, like was it the mining ship? I really wish they would have went with Argo instead of RSI. I'm just between Aegis and RSI ships, I'm done. Aegis is my favorite. I don't want any more ships from them, the manufacturers. Let's fill out some other ships and don't let the community vote no more CIG. Please, just y'all gonna have to take the reins. Like, I miss when we were able to vote on like which ship we could do, but not manufacture. Y'all come up with the manufacturer because people are just gonna be voting off nostalgia with some of these ship manufacturers and not with sense. Oh, okay, there it is.
Situation that needs help.
It's meant for when you've got ships stranded out in space that they need some help. You're there with your flashing lights and your bright orange ship to go and rescue them.
It's for the player that wants to help rather than go out murdering.
You often go out murdering?
Yeah. I often go out murdering.
Murderer. Oh, I love Argo. Look at these. Oh, they just got that
Argo
industrial
has a
look
very
down.
strong visual style in our game. So there's a few kind of core elements that we knew we had to have. It's got to be orange. There's no question about that. It needs to have kind of VTOLs that rotate. It needs to have big engines at the back, and it needs to feel kind of super industrial and very functional compared to a lot of our other manufacturers. One of the things that we learned early on when we were doing Argo ships as a manufacturer is, as the orange is such a bold color, we really want to kind of keep that contained as much as we can.
Yes.
So what we try and do now with our
Yes,
Argo
yes,
ships
yes.
is we still want them to be orange, we still want them to be very recognizable, but we want that all to be contained within one area, and then the underside is kind of like the more mechanical area and the kind of black bellies. And I think that difference between the tops and bottoms really helps to add some believability to the vehicle. Not everyone loves orange, so we will have different paint options available.
I can't wait to hop in and try those.
Three tints. It has a really nice white one and a black and yellow one, which is my favorite. And it
Test
has also
these.
this blue beigey one, which I think out of all the ships is kind of new for Argo, that kind of color combination.
Nope,
My
I'll
favorite
keep
thing
my
about the
orange, thank you.
exterior of the SRV is that it's very consistent with both the mole and the raft. It has this diamond shape on the top with the circular feature. I like that kind of consistency. It really feels like a family of ships.
I want to see how big it is inside because Argo does a
Originally,
very
the
good job
SRV
of
didn't
that.
have much of an interior, but we pushed for like a bigger one.
We've tried to balance both the Argo utility feeling that everyone loves, along with keeping it nice enough that you could bring in a couple of explorers whose ship's down. You'll enter the engineering area. This is actually where you enter the ship. The airlock or the lift is in the floor.
Oh, I've never seen that before. They wipe
Within
off
this
the...
room contains all the components for the SRV.
That's cool, I
It's
like that.
kinda like the raft's corridor, but all compacted and refined more into a single space, so everything's kind of jammed in there, so you can access everything at once if you need to. Moving on, you'll go onto the bridge. You'll sort of be greeted by your standard Argo style, your space trucker seat, your bull bars and your nice angled glass. Then moving on to the rear of the ship, you've got the habitation area. In the habitation area, you've
Look at
also
that.
got for if you're long hauling.
Like, come on, bruh.
For going into hazardous places. And like a gun rack, so you've still got that utility in there as well.
Yes.
My favorite little bit about that is it's
See,
got
bruh,
like a sort of like rest and recovery.
Dude, Argo just nails it, man. I just, like, you be thinking to be a small ship, and they just got like a real nice little area and utilizes the space real well in these ships. I love it.
Area for the person being rescued, so they don't have to stay in their busted up soft air ship. They can come over to the SRV, sit at the table, get like a recovery coffee.
That you can kind of sit down and look out, and you can see
I'm
your
towing
ship
your
being
busted
towed
ass
by the
ship.
SRV.
The Argo SRV, it has a very large tractor and towing beam assembly on the rear of the ship that the pilot controls. So they navigate towards the vehicle, swap to the turret view that controls the tractor beam, and then they position it and lock onto that ship. Reasons why you would use it: maybe you've run out of fuel and you don't want to pay some exorbitant staff owners fees to refuel. You want your friend to come tow you back to a spaceport. And most importantly,
most people don't know that you can get repaired from soft def now. But obviously, you won't be in a safe place if you got put into soft def. So the SRV is going to come along, tow your ship to a safe location where it can get
Did they
repaired.
say
it's like a car recovery vehicle if you break down on the motorway, sort of thing?
Did they ever say how big a ship that this thing could tow? That's what I'm curious about. Like, I know this thing can't tow Idris. It shouldn't be able to. Maybe 3, 4 of them could, but I hope one little one by itself shouldn't. Even though it's got that tugboat feature. You think about ships in real life, usually I think there's usually 2 tugboats that move like cruises and some of these big boats. I don't know. I remember watching a special on it before. Maybe it's about 2 tugboats that move cruises and
can be towed back
boats.
to a spaceport, and then that ship can be repaired back to a state of flight.
The SRV really begins to shine once the resource management system comes into play, because you won't always be in full soft def. You could have messed up your engines.
Thrusters could have malfunctioned, power plants could be worn out and need replacing. All these things are going to result in ships that are fairly immobile, or ground vehicles that are immobile. And we don't want players to just simply go and claim on their insurance for these things as their first port of call. We want people to recover it. It's going to be much more beneficial to you in the short and long term.
Oh, it's gonna be some interesting stuff coming up.
SRV, the shields need to be down on the target vehicle or ship, so that could be the player has willingly lowered their shields, or they're in a state where the shields no longer function, and it needs to be not fighting against the SRV in terms of movement.
Oh, that's so sick.
The idea of making a tow truck, I think, is a great idea. When you're a little boy and you grow up and you see the breakdown vehicles sat at the side of the road with their flashing lights on, being able to kind of recreate that, but for our own audience, is super fun.
So that's the SRV, and it is another great entry point into a support career.
We've got a lot of combat and commerce type ships, but it's the next true support class vehicle.
For those of you who don't want to fight, don't want to haul goods, the SRV is there to help you support other players and NPCs in the game.
You want me to say I'll be a tow truck driver? I'm more of a Drake guy.
So you're more of the getting towed guy.
I'm definitely more of the getting towed guy, yeah.
Damn.
I will need a friend with an SRV nearby.
It's for good
Damn,
people.
Drake
who like to
always
help
catching
others,
strays.
unlike Drake owners.
The
Damn.
Intergalactic Aerospace Expo is our annual celebration of all things.
Okay, Lando, I
shaping
see that
vehicles in the
shirt.
Star Citizen universe.
Animaniacs.
Whether that's alien starters like the Gattac Sulin, stylish cargo craft like the Crusader Spirit C1.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. The new Animaniacs show, like, it's one of those shows that got rebooted, and I swear to God, it just took off from where I was when I was a kid. One of the only few shows to do that. I'm like, dude, they haven't missed a beat and haven't changed. I haven't seen, well, I think the first season, the new season. I don't know if they came out with a second one, but I'm like, dude, Animaniacs, y'all killing it.
Personal people tanks like the Tumble Storm or the recently made flyable space tow truck, the Argo SRV. And yes, I know, and I can already see the YouTube comments now.
We already got that ship yesterday.
Well, I like spaceships, and I like the people that make spaceships, and I like showcasing their development. But I hear you. So let's move things forward and discuss the new concept vehicle that's making its debut this Saturday, the RSI Arrastra.
Last year for CitizenCon, we did a vote to decide what vehicle you wanted to see next, and the winner was the mining ship. So what we ended up doing is the large RSI mining ship, which has turned out to be the RSI Arrastra.
What is Arrastra?
Absolutely no idea.
Primitive mill that's used in grinding ores, I think.
The name Arrastra derives from the ancient mining tool and technique.
So in Star Citizen, we have a number of mining ships already. We've got the
That's a cool
Prospector,
name.
which is kind of like your starter outer. The Mole is that kind of first multi-crew ship.
Oh,
It
yeah.
allows you to go out with a few friends and kind of try and work a profit together. And then the top of the scale, we've got the Orion. That's the kind of end
I got
game of
all
mining.
3.
And we saw this gap between the two. So the RSI Arrastra is the ship that fills that gap.
Oh boy.
So the Arrastra kind of combines the core visual elements that we've kind of developed over the years of RSI. It still has that definite triangular arrowhead shape to it, so it still feels at home within the RSI family. One of the things we struggled with a little bit at the beginning when concepting it was we didn't want it to feel
definitely looks like a
too
Perseus.
sleek. It really needs to feel like it had a functional purpose, and that really led us down exposing a lot more of the industrial elements. We've built on the idea of RSI layering in their ships to kind of really expose the core framework of the ship down the central kind of columns.
It also has a much more comfortable habitation for the crew to live on. It's got plenty of utility on board for day-to-day life, as well as a place to actually land additional vehicles in the back.
Oh shit, that right there might make me, this might be my fourth ship.
Spend
I really didn't want to buy this ship. I wasn't gonna do it just because I'm bitter about this thing winning the mining ship. I don't want no more RSI ships. But damn, I might have to do it. Damn, I wasn't trying to.
Large amount of time.
Because this ship looks like it's about to be okay, let's see if I can guess it right. $400 to $500 ship.
Away from dock, away
Let
from
me see
station.
some more of it.
It's got an onboard refinery. It's got a large amount of ore storage as well as onboard cargo. It's a kind of big, serious mining ship, and it allows for a crew of up to 5 to kind of go out and really kind of step into that professional level mining outfit without requiring, you know, a big capital ship.
We have multiple stations for different people to actually mine at the same time as each other.
They're all sat together in a very RSI-like bridge section. The remote turrets that are on the Arrastra all have some level of transformation in terms of their location. The two at the front can slide backwards and forwards along, so you don't require the pilot to have to go left a bit, go right a bit.
We also have a large one in the center, which can descend through the middle of the ships.
Can actually transform down through the ship and out the bottom to cover the underside. So really you can mine in 360 degrees with this ship.
And as it cuts through the ship, you can actually see the turret as it travels from one side to the other.
And then additional crew members can help either position the ship if they want to change location, or deal with the
R.I.P. Wallet.
at the rear of the ship.
R.I.P.
But the ship can also hold ground mining vehicles. If you are planet side, some of those crew members could take mining vehicles that you've stored aboard out and do some surface mining whilst the ship hangs around nearby to tackle some ground mining rocks.
Please, CIG, remake this. This is so stupid. Like, I don't understand why even make this outdoors, the cockpit. Like, when we're in the different elements, like, we should just be able to sit inside, or we could have been inside here with a remote turret. I don't understand. Like, this is glass and you're enclosed, but then you're sitting outside. It's just a silly design. That didn't make any sense. I'm surprised no one was like, yeah, this is pretty trash. And I have one. It's just, that's a stupid design. I got both mining gray cats.
So this ship is really perfectly placed for people who want to go mining but don't quite know what they're going to encounter along the way. They are equipped to tackle anything on the surface, anything on space.
One of the benefits of concepting the Arrastra now is that we know a lot more about our game, a lot more about how mining works and kind of features in the game. That gives us a much better understanding of what's important for a mining ship. And that's one of the things that we'll take on to when we kind of deliver the Orion in the future.
So this is a great example of how developments on...
Oh, hold on. Let me get a good look at this. I need to get a good look at this. Let me see. It's so crazy how different the Orion looks. You could tell they didn't have their look with RSI when they made this. That's kind of the good thing they used to have in the beginning with CIG, but that's why it probably took longer with a lot of ships, because they didn't have a development pipeline. But ooh, look at this. But this deck, like, look how big this ship is, and the Astra that we're getting, or Asteroid, whatever it's called. Yeah, that bridge ain't that nice. Yeah, that bridge ain't as dope as the one we're looking at in Armada. Turret on top.
Some ships improves and expedites others. Compared to the Orion, this bridges the gap in a few nice ways. It leverages all the existing mining loops and mechanics that we have in-game at the moment, whereas the Orion is going to be solely mining in space. It is a big ship designed for sitting out in deep space, mining big asteroids. It won't be capable of going down to planet size and mining on there.
What we kind of learned from the Orion is that a lot of our RSI ships feel very, very aggressive. They feel very military and fast. And if you think of like a big industrial mining ship, the Orion is kind of the opposite to that. It's this huge kind of bulky ship that is very purpose-built. And what we want to do with the Arrastra is take the lessons that we'd learned from that and combine that with some of the more modern RSI art styles and manufacturing techniques.
The Arrastra is the sort of all-in-one mining ship.
Yeah, this sounds like I'll be using this a lot more than my Orion, not gonna lie. Especially my Orion's only made for space now too.
Started hand mining at the very start. You progress to, say, a rock as the next step, then a prospector, then a mole. This is the big step that lets you do a bit of everything. You can mine, you can refine, you can transport. And then if you want to go even deeper into that, then you go off to the Orion at the end.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the SRV is another fine addition to the working class gameplay Argo always seems to
I learned that my wallet is about to quiver.
The Arrastra wants to be the next big step in the evolution of mining gameplay before its even bigger Orion sibling arrives farther down the line. And that IAE continues to be the biggest ship and vehicle event of the year. But it's also Thanksgiving. And today, while we continue to always give thanks to you, the citizens of the verse who make all of this possible, I want to give a special thanks personally to the folks behind the ships. Now, all of the ships and vehicles in Star Citizen are only made possible by the variety of content, gameplay, and feature teams all contributing to their look, feel, performance, and overall experience. Despite a few YouTube comments that seem to think Dan McCabe makes some of these things all by himself. Because there's like 62 people on the vehicle content team alone. If only there were a way to make everybody remember that. Perhaps with the power of song. All right, relax. I wouldn't do that to you. Even I'm not that cringe. So for Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you. And we'll see you all here next week.
Oh, one of them CIG hoodies, dog. Oh, there's more. But wait, there's more.
And now, the developers of our vehicles by Disco Lando.
Kingsley Von Walker, Nate Lang, Adam Parker, Chris Law, Ben Curtis, John Crew.
There he goes.
Mello, George Coffin, Rich Towler, too. Corey Bamford, Aaron Egan, and Patrick Solano, Al Parker, Mark Gibson, and Still. Kevin Turney, then Vimal, and Jin, and Zaheen, and Josh Crow, and Jay Thompson, Lars Lopkins. Samuel Brito, Chris Diggs, Bradley Vincent, Tom Hoskins, Chris Smith, April Dillons as well. Matt Vieira, Matt Monty, Matt Gron Jones, Evan Jr., Cy Bowmer, and Dunk. Owen and Alex and Alman and Haiti and Leith Livio and Lorenzo. Davender, Peliquin, Dan Dexter Taylors, and don't forget Man and Triero. With Hosmer, McCabe, and then Bartram and Tobin.
Oh, boy.
Kel Norris. I'm way past my time, but we still have designers like Josh Sleepy Tom and Mercedes. There's Stocko and Adam and Corwin and Harry and Ben and Paul Joseph.
Oh, boy. Lando. So, yeah, that was a pretty cool episode. It looks like my wallet is about to be screaming. I wish they really did the... I hate the time of they pick for these ship sales. Like the week of Thanksgiving and Black Friday, there's so much other shit I want to buy. And then you want to drop the ships. Like, why? Why in November? It's just too much shit to buy. I don't know. But anyways, pretty cool episode. We'll be seeing how much this costs. I want to see how much y'all think it's going to cost. And I'm going to be checking out this Star Engine video. That's going to be on the next video. So I'll see y'all on the next one.